Hello everyone that's tuning in to our latest TDF podcast. Today we're fortunate enough to be hosting player-manager of Baku United and former professional player and England international, Rob Ursell. Rob also plays for the England six-a-side team and is a massive fan of futsal, and he's got great ideas himself. Rob, thanks for joining us.
No problem, thanks for having me.
So just very quickly, mate, take us through your futsal journey.
I was born in Spain, and I'd kind of heard of football de sala because my whole family were fluent in Spanish, but I'd never played it, didn't know the rules. And I was playing 11-a-side for AFC Wimbledon, and the club got a fax one morning just before a game, calling me up to the England squad, that was their player pool at the time. It was non-league players, basically, because they didn't have a league. So where else are they going to get futsal players? So I went to Belgium to play. First game away from home. Didn't even know the rules. And yeah, I did okay. Probably, if I look back at it now, I didn't have a clue what I was doing at all. But neither did I with the rest of the team at the time, so I didn't look too out of place, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was, I think, 2004, my first game. It was a bit bitty, like, I'd play a game. I think I played about 4 games only for England at that point, before having knee problems and deciding to stop playing for England anyway. And then I was taking 11-a-side a little bit less seriously when Graham Dell left and Pete Sturgess took over. And Dermot Collins asked me if I'd be interested in coming back. So I started playing again when Pete took over, and from there I got the chance to go and play abroad in Cyprus full time. So since probably 2009, I've only played futsal, I suppose. Maybe the odd 11-a-side game when I was back for an England trip. I'd play a non-league game or something, but generally it's only been futsal since then.
Okay, decent. You're obviously with Baku now, but tell us about how you managed to turn pro, Rob.
I was playing for England in the Euros against Cyprus, and we had Miko Martic involved with us at the time. I think he had a contact in a club called Ararat in Cyprus, which was they were like the best club out there at the time, and he spoke to him, and it was a player, and the player who I'm now friends with, a Latvian player. I don't think he got it to go any further, but then we played Cyprus in the Euro qualifiers, and from there a couple of the boys in the Cyprus team, I think, went to their president at Ararat, the same club, and they asked them to bring me along. So I went for a week's trial, and I think 2 weeks before, I was in Singapore on trial for 11-a-side in the main league out there. Right. So if I would have got offered something, I probably would have taken it, and I probably would never have played futsal again, to be honest.
Right.
But I didn't get offered anything there, and I did get offered something when I went to Cyprus. We played a friendly against a second division team, and I was able to, even with my limited futsal knowledge, I was able to, because the opposition wasn't great, I got by with my skill, and I managed to look good enough to where they thought they could use me. Right. So they signed me till the end of the season, and then I stayed in Cyprus for four years playing. Right. All different clubs. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Good. And during this time as well, you were a regular England international, arguably the main England player as well in the setup. Tell us through your. Tell us about your journey in the England national team, and also why you're no longer in the England squad. Because you're still considered a very good English player. You're highly rated in the South, at least. So despite your age, some people still think you should be in the England squad. So take us through all of that, really.
It was weird because at the time we were we were not a good side when Pete took over, and we didn't. The league, I think the league was just coming in at the time, and it was very early stages. We didn't have, I think, we didn't have anyone playing abroad. We didn't have anyone training full time. The foreigners that were playing in the English league weren't the level that they are now, even. So it was. We had English coaches who didn't experience the game, so it was like the blind leading the blind a little bit. We weren't learning much. We were playing with a fix who would literally, the fix would just stay at the back. So when you're attacking, it's 3v4 against teams that have more experience in pressing and defending against you. We'd spend a lot of time without the ball. I always try to say that if we put more of the attacking players on at the same time, we'd have more of the ball, but it never happened. And I think I wouldn't say I was I would say I was one of the more dangerous players in attack at the time, but the players that I had good relationship with, like Tom Abassi, like Cookie, he would never put two of us on at the same time, so it was really difficult to we just didn't have enough of the ball to be attacking a lot, which it's changed a lot now. They do put a lot of attacking players in at the same time, which they have to. Well, you have to be able to do everything really in futsal. So, yeah. But at the time, it was very difficult because we just spent a lot of time without the ball. And I think the 2011 World Cup qualifiers, I remember we were in Latvia, and I'd read Roy Keane's book recently. Remember when he had a falling out with the Irish management and everything. I'd read that kind of just recently to that, and I think we beat Cyprus. We didn't play very well, but we beat them 3-2. We beat San Marino, I think, by 1 or 2 goals, and we missed out on qualifying by goal difference. But everyone seemed really happy after it, and there was a quote in the Keane book about even though everyone was celebrating and everything, I felt really detached from it, and it was exactly how I felt. It was like Keane was saying we'd done everything wrong and we'd still got good results, and I was just frustrated for a long time playing for England. So,
I mean, did you voice this at any time, or?
A lot of the times I would be, if there was something asked in the change room by coaches or management about has anyone got anything to say, then I would usually be the one who's quite opinionated, and I would disagree with something, and probably at the time some of my thoughts were wrong as well. But we went to Murcia for a training camp, and I remember we came back and we played Manchester in a friendly before that World Cup qualification, and we tried to use a pressing system that they tried to teach us out there, and it's just been completely misinterpreted. And after that game, we lost to Manchester. After the game, I think.
Hold on a minute. So the England national team lost to Manchester.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting.
At the time, it's not that surprising.
Really, that's quite interesting.
Because I was saying when I eventually did say I'm not going to play anymore for Pete, I said to him in an email, leaving me out for these friendlies is nothing. It's totally understandable. But how could you leave Argon and Cookie out from the World Cup qualification stages?
Yeah, and it turns out that 2 or 3 years after, these are 2 of the main players in the England setup as well. Still arguably the main players. I mean, obviously fitness is a bit of an issue.
Most people would say they're the main 2 players, but at the time they were not put in that squad. All right, Cookie was coming back from a bit of an injury, a big injury, but he was long since back by then and should have been in the squad. And it's not like it wasn't obvious to most people at the time that these 2 are 2 of the better players. And it was it's just frustrating that we were never going to be a top team or anything like that, but we could have been a better team if all the main players that have been selected, we would have been better. How good we would have been, we wouldn't have been much different to probably what they are now. I would have thought maybe they're a bit further advanced now because they've all the players have got more futsal experience. Like Doug and Argon have obviously played a lot abroad, and with Baku, even the English league has got had better foreign players in it, and that helped everyone. So, but we certainly could have been a lot better if we'd have selected all our strongest players at the time then. And it was that was what I found. That was one of the things I found most frustrating. So I was abroad in Cyprus, and I was telling my family, like, for months, I just don't want to play for England anymore. But they kept saying to me, no, don't be silly, because they bring you back every month for training or for a match, and it's convenient. So it's like, as soon as it means nothing if they leave you out. They dropped me for a friendly game, a home friendly game against Switzerland, and it means nothing if they leave you out and then you quit. Like, kind of, I didn't get to really make my point as best I should.
Okay.
But I think a few people like Sam Murphy and people like that have quit since. Ian Parks have quit since. I don't really know Parksy that well. I know Murph very well, and I know how frustrated he was. He doesn't care enough to actually make his point. He's not really big on futsal. He never was. But I know other people have quit because of the same frustrations.
Right, so just to make it clear for the audience, Rob, you believe you were no longer selected not on talent, but on what then? On what basis?
No, I never said that. I even said to Pete, I can understand after, I think we played a friendly against France, and I think I hadn't scored for like 4 or 5 games. I knew he was going to, like Tom, I remember Tom and Bassi saying to me, he's going to leave you out as soon as he gets the chance, because he didn't like me anyway. But like him leaving me out for the friendlies, I said to him in an email, it was completely like understandable for him leaving me out for that, but I just didn't want to, I just used it as the chance to kind of make sure I said my piece rather than like keep it kind of bottled up, and kind of hope that he's going to put me back in the future. Like, I'd rather just have said I'm not playing for you anymore and being able to get things off my chest, which I think I was honest with him about everything, and like it felt I didn't have to worry about it anymore. It was like a bit of a load off my mind that I could just say my piece, and I didn't have to keep it pent up anymore. Really.
Okay, I mean, obviously a lot's happened since that episode, and I mean we've got a new manager now, Michael Scubella, as the England coach, amongst other roles. I mean, if you were offered the opportunity to play for England, although England is still limited in certain ways, it's better than it once was. And under a new manager, I mean, would you still play for England if given the opportunity, Rob?
I would. I mean, I watched, I think, the Sweden game on live stream when England played really well, and obviously I played with Argon and Doug last year a fair bit, and they're a lot better. But I don't think now. I think I could help against the teams that England are better than. I could help them create more and be more dominant and everything like that when they have superiority. But when they're playing the bigger games, I think like physically I wouldn't be able to deal with it anyway. So like I'm quite like content to not play again, to be honest, rather than make myself look silly against like the better teams that they play against.
Okay. Now, switching the focus to your club, you're obviously at Baku, you're the player manager there, and you're through to the grand finals. I mean, you reckon you'll win it all this year? Or, I mean, tell us what you think will happen, may happen, should happen.
Well, with the players we've got, other people will probably look at it from objectively and think, like, I'm kidding myself. But I wouldn't swap our players for any of the other teams' players.
I mean, you've got Tobias, you've got Jared. I mean, you've got top. You got arguably two of the best players in England at the moment. Along yourself as well, You've got a very good keeper as well, Lithuanian international.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, we've got a couple of problems. I've underachieved a bit as a coach, in my opinion. We've played. To have lost to a team like Reading with our squad, we shouldn't be losing that game. and then to lose 4 out of 4 to in the Genesis and Helvetia games, like I don't think that's good enough from my point of view.
Although in all fairness, they are pretty strong.
No, I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying we can't ever lose to these teams, but that I think 5 defeats in the 14 games is way too much for the quality we've got. Like, the thing I've done well is I've managed to get the quality players there, but as a coach, I don't think I've done enough with that squad yet.
Right.
Like we can win one-off games, but if you are looking at it from a neutral's point of view, you'd have to say we're 4th favourites at best, and that's without me seeing Manchester this year, who we've got to play in the 2 legs. So like I believe our players are good enough. I don't think we're working as well as Helvetia. They're much fitter, they're much more aggressive. They seem to be more committed at the moment than us, which obviously they're paying their players, so that does help them to be more committed. Genesis they seem to have a bit of a togetherness now that they didn't have in the past, and they've got really, really good attacking players. I really like the individual qualities they've got. So yeah, we've been behind those 2 this season in terms of overall. In terms of futsal, like movement and keeping the ball and stuff like that, I do think we're even now we've been the best team in terms of keeping the ball and things like that, but we're not productive enough in attack so far, and we're not aggressive enough in defence to probably say that we're anything more than 4th favourites at the moment.
Right. Okay. And TDF will be streaming some of the grand finals matches. Probably Baku will feature as well. We'll still decide on that. But any players to watch from Baku and any other teams in particular, any other players from other teams that you're impressed with as well, Rob, and that the audience should keep an eye out on when these matches are streamed?
Yeah, for me, Tobias is like by far the best futsal player in the league. Like, in terms of if you understand the game, you can learn much more from him than any of the other players. Then you've got individuals like Lucas Totti and I think his name's Sarmento at Genesis.
Oh, Nello Sarmento. He's he's
the
good.
Tall 11.
The Tall 11. You're talking about the mixed race guy?
Yeah.
No. That's Felipe Neves.
Okay. You got like individuals like those who are great to watch and probably the 2 most dangerous individuals in the league for me. But as a player, like, it's hard to learn something from them, like, that you can put into your own game, because what they do is really natural, whereas what Tobias does, and like I've been playing with him just over a year now, and obviously trying to coach him, but he's probably coaching me still. His decision making's really good. His thinking's really quick. His organisation of other people, things like that. For me, he's like, if you get a casual fan at a game, they're never going to pick him out. Probably above.
They're going to appreciate his tactical understanding.
Yeah. I think you need to play with him to realise how good he is. And yeah, the two individuals that I mentioned at Genesis and Helvetia, they're class players as well. So
cool.
They're definitely the 2 most dangerous players that I've seen this season.
Decent. I mean, obviously, it's officially confirmed now. Super League is taking place next year. It's going to be a United Futsal League in England, and they say it's unofficial, but we know for a fact that it is official. Baku are in. I mean, what do you think of this United Futsal League taking place next year? And what do you also think about teams like Bristol and Sussex missing out? There's a bit of an outcry as to why these teams missed out. So, I mean, tell us your thoughts on that.
I don't know enough about the setup at Sussex, but Bristol's a very strange one. Very strange. Because they're all young English players pretty much. They seem to have at least some kind of youth structure. They had, when we played them away, they had kids at the game. They had kids games going on before us. Kids teams walking out both teams. they seemed like they were one of the teams that was making a concerted effort to promote the game. And you look at probably, I know you can't not include Helvetia in the league because they've just been one of the top teams, but they don't seem to be doing anything outside of the first team. From what I can tell.
I think they've got a development squad now, but I don't really know what they're doing with the development squad. Are they playing competitive games or etc.?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're building a club. It feels like they're building a team, which is what Baku was. Hopefully, we have got youth teams in place thanks to Pete, and we are Pete Goodwin, but we are trying to become more of a club because we haven't got that money anymore that is paying for players, that is paying for all the costs of running a team. I think this year everyone's seen a big difference in how difficult it is to run a team. Well, Alex probably has more than anything. So we are trying to develop the club rather than just the first team. And I think it seems like Helvetia is more of a first team. It seems like I'm trying to think of the other clubs. Oxford have developed a club, obviously. Escola, Reading have joined up with Escola, so they've got a structure. So I couldn't really. I don't know enough about the North teams. The South teams, I would say only probably Helvetia is the one that's not making the effort to. Doesn't seem like they're building as much of a club structure, more of a team. But it would be farcical if Helvetia wasn't included in the league.
True.
So it's really difficult for the FA. It's difficult because they're trying to insist on all the clubs having all these things. But if they took Helvetia out of the league, they would. You could argue that the players would go somewhere else, but I think that it would make the league weaker without Helvetia.
Sure, absolutely.
So, markedly weaker. So it's a very difficult decision. I don't know enough about. I heard that Tranmere's got a good structure. I hear that Cambridge and York, they've all got decent structures in place. So
all affiliated to football clubs as well, aren't they?
Yeah, it's hard to criticise any of. I don't know anything about Salisbury, to be honest. But it's hard to criticise any of the ones I know about. And the only one based on criteria that is a bit dodgy is Helvetia. But again, you just can't really have the league without the best, one of the best two clubs that there's ever been in England, basically. So I think that's why us and them got in, even though we've got a bit more of a structure than them now. But you just couldn't have the league without them.
Fair enough. What about FA Cup? Planning on winning that? I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's the same thing.
You're going to win there?
Same thing with the league. We can win. I don't think there's any teams this year that are as good as ourselves until we lost the money. Oxford or Helvetia last year. There were three teams last year that were far better, in my opinion,
the rest of
than whoever's going to win the league this year. So, none of these teams are unbeatable. We can win on our day, but again, you'd objectively say that we're full favourites.
Okay, cool. I mean, obviously, you have been a bit critical of futsal in England in the past, whether it's the national team or whether it's, futsal, how it's delivered in England, and quite complimentary of futsal in Cyprus, on the other hand. So, I mean, what are the main differences between the two countries, futsal-wise?
Well, the grass is always greener on the other side first, but this year has been probably the worst year for many reasons. The quality of the league is down from last year, down from the year before that. The lack of games has been the worst thing for me. It's been so hard to motivate players that are not getting paid to come to turn up to training when there's no game. I think we played end of February or early March. We played our last league game, and our next game is going to be 23rd of April. That's ridiculous. You basically ended your season. That's a similar gap to Premier League teams ending their season and then starting the new Premier League season.
Right.
I don't know how they could think that spinning it out from September to June and making a game every 3 weeks or a game every 4 weeks is a good decision at all. It's ridiculous to me.
So in Cyprus there's lots more games, I assume.
There's not even lots more games. The season's more condensed. If you get to the cup final there, you play it at the start of May. The league season, there are more games because you play the regular season, and then at the time the top four went into their playoffs, and the next four in the league went into the lower playoffs. The playoffs were like a continuation of the league, so you stayed on your points and you just played home and away again against the teams around you. So I think the games out there, they were way more intense. There were night fixtures all the time. They have a culture for indoor sports there, so the fans of the clubs will support their team in basketball, volleyball, futsal, everything, football. The clubs are, I know they're trying to make it that way now with like Tranmere and Cambridge and York, but you're never going to get, I can't imagine it, 2,000 Tranmere fans at a Tranmere game actually caring if they win at futsal. It's not going to happen. In Cyprus, you concede a goal in a derby game, in a futsal game, against one of your rivals, and the home fans are all throwing things and throwing chairs, spitting, getting the game abandoned.
Have you ever been hit by a chair in a match, Rob?
Not a chair, just coins.
Oh, what a shame.
That's what everyone would say.
I'm joking, come on.
Yeah, no, but I know it sounds bad, and it is, but it made the game so much better to play.
Yeah, it's more entertaining, isn't it? I mean, it's what you want to see.
It's more intense. It's a competition. I don't want everyone to throw a chair at me. I don't want one mad Helvetia fan to throw a chair at me in a national finals game or anything like that. But it does make it, when the crowd cares and they're into it, it does make it a lot more intense, enjoyable, and meaningful to play in.
For sure, yeah.
If they had, even if they managed to get 500 Tranmere fans, which very difficult. I don't know why I keep using Tranmere, but I know they're a club with a football following. If they managed to get them, it would still be parents introducing kids to the game usually, and it would still be, which is great, but it wouldn't be fans that actually care about the result too much, and that's a big difference. Out there, it's a sport on its own basically, and here it's probably it is still seen as something that maybe parents can introduce kids to supplement their football learning.
Right. I mean, how do you think we can establish this sort of passionate fan base in England? I mean, do you know how? I mean, do you know how they did that in Cyprus, or is it just solely because of the culture of teams being sports clubs rather than football clubs alone? So if you are an Apoel supporter in Cyprus, you will automatically support the Apoel basketball team, the futsal team, the volleyball team if they have one, and etc. Like it is in Brazil. Let's say if you're a Corinthians fan in Brazil, one of the biggest teams in the world actually as far as fan base goes. If you are a supporter of the football team, you will also support the futsal team and any other sports that they have, like American football and etc. etc. It's just automatic. Is there that element in Cyprus, or are fans passionate about futsal because they actually love futsal too? Which one is it?
No, it's definitely not a love for futsal. It's definitely a cultural thing, and it's definitely a love for their club.
Right.
The side effects help futsal in terms of the interest levels in it. The fact that the cup finals on TV or a big league game is going to be on TV, things like that. But It's definitely not because these fans really care about futsal. It's just because they really love their clubs.
So in theory, if Kickers Futsal Club turned into AFC Wimbledon, Enfield turned into Leyton Orient, Pro Futsal turned into Watford, I don't know, West London turned into Brentford Futsal Club. Yeah. Do you think then we are going to start to see passionate fans?
No.
No.
No, it's cultural. Like they care a lot more about their club over theirs. I think it's a little bit of a political divide between Ammonia and Apoel.
Right.
There's the fans that are going to games there's a lot of kind of hooligan fans that are going to the games there, which is not going to happen to a futsal game in England.
Right. Okay.
And I sound like I'm advocating that. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just saying it was more enjoyable to play in front of those people than maybe people that kind of sit there uninterested. If you see like the videos on YouTube of like Apoel, Ammonia futsal, you see how passionate they are, and like it's good that there's not going to be any violence, hopefully, at a futsal game in England. But yeah, you're just never going to recreate that passion.
Right. The environment, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. They just care more about the results of their teams.
Mm-hmm.
They care more that their futsal team probably beats their rivals than like me and you care about watching our like Liverpool or Tottenham winning. Do you know what I mean? Like we lose, I've forgotten about it straight away. Liverpool lose, I've forgotten about it straight away. I'm not really that bothered. But over there, it's a bit more important than that.
Right.
They take it very, very personally. I think Brazil's similar because I lived with Brazilians and they really get into supporting their club a lot more than we do as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, could be. I mean, following is obviously extremely important. It's probably one of the reasons why Salisbury is in the Super League. I believe they're one of two teams in England that actually sell season tickets, and they've sold 80 this year and aim to sell 150 next year. That's for anyone listening to the podcast and questioning as to why, Salisbury are in the Super League anyway. I'm not defending why they should be in the Super League, but that's one of the reasons why they're in it. And obviously Manchester is one of the most, if not the most organised club in the country. They also have a lot of fans. And going forward, futsal will need fans. And as highlighted by Rob. But Rob, I mean, what's your thoughts on the future of futsal in England, and where do you actually think it's heading?
I think short term it's going to struggle. The league is good in that we'll get more games, so it'll be slightly easier to keep players motivated for training. Like this gap in between games, you notice the numbers for training are not the same as they would be if we had a big game. The week before we play Helvetia, we've got everyone at training. I think that's probably the only time all season. But honestly, that's not an exaggeration. That's probably the only time all season before the second Helvetia game that we've had every player at training. It's very difficult. So short term, I don't think the league's going to suddenly become better quality. Maybe the fitness levels will go up if motivation for players to turn up at training is better next season because they've got more games to play. That's possible, but there won't be increased money next year for teams to bring in better players, which was what made the England national team, what made the league jump for a while. I think if you ask Argon and players like that, Argon and Daga and these guys, even Cookie from playing against Baku, from training with the players that came in at Baku, like world-class players, that is how they made their improvement. They didn't make it from the England training camps where they went and did the bleep test. Like, do you know what I mean? They made the strides forward from the better competition that they faced in club level, or the better competition they had in training, and the fact they were training more often. And that's taken a few steps backward, not even one step backward, since Baku lost the money, since Oxford lost the money, Helvetia not paying the same kind of money that Baku and Oxford were previously. the quality of the league has just taken massive steps backwards, and that's going to have a knock-on effect for a while. But I do think with the youth clubs that a lot of the players and ex-players are running now, like Pro Futsal, like Ole, Vinta, London Wizards ourselves, Baku even now, probably CM Futsal, I've forgotten a few, but the people that are coaching these youth setups are more passionate about futsal than the people who were coaching the England players the last few years. So they're trying to develop better futsal players, and the results within probably 10 years are going to be massive improvement in the England
I agree.
National team. Massive improvement.
I agree. You're going to have a much bigger pool of players who are actually more prepared to play futsal because they're being coached by futsal people.
Yeah, no, it's we played against LA a few months ago, and we played against them last summer, and we did okay. We had some even results, then we played against them more recently. The improvements they've made is amazing, to be fair to Alfie and
Alex.
Alex, yeah. So English players can grow up and learn futsal. This current generation, like me, like you, all the guys currently, we didn't grow up playing futsal, really. So they've got that massive advantage. Correct. And they're going to be a lot better than we were.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years from now, the future is a lot brighter for English futsal. Just not in the immediate future, I don't think.
Okay, and I mean, just last thing, Rob. Obviously, you are a player coach now as well, so you see things as a coach, as you probably didn't in 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, obviously, there is a lack of highly qualified or highly prepared English coaches in the country, and it's not necessarily their fault because we're in a bit of a bubble. We don't really know what futsal really is until you go abroad. I've been fortunate to go to 2 international tournaments for universities and see players that are professional in Croatia and Spain and stuff, and it's completely opened my eyes to a completely different game, and I've started to think about the game differently and stuff, and etc. And I mean, whereas a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to do so. I mean, what advice would you give to an English coach, with regards to improving as a coach, CPD? What can they do? Because we've got limited resources for coaches in England. I know you know that because most of your expertise comes from abroad. I mean, what advice would you give?
What Damon Shaw has done, apparently, go abroad and do a coaching course. Like, if you're doing a coaching course here, they can help you with the way you put across information and things like that, which is something I do need to improve on. But they're not gonna give you any futsal knowledge here, like that you shouldn't already have. Like, if you can overcome the language barrier, I would do what Damon Shaw has done and go to Spain and do a course where they're much more in depth. You're going to learn things. Do a course abroad, not here. There's not much to learn here about futsal.
All right, and any final comments at all, Rob? Anything you wish to say? Anything that you wish to add at all to this interview or to the futsal community?
No, not really. Just thanks for having me on, and well done to you guys for doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, we're not very good players, so we've got to do something else. You see.
Same. That's what I'm trying to do. Just deflect away from my own problems, my own inabilities.
Bloody hell! We've gone from what? I mean, obviously, Block the Middle, because we can't refer to his name, was an England international. No longer an England international. Myself, ex-under-23 England player, bloody playing Division 2 now. We've got to find other things to do, Rob. You know what I mean?
No, those who can't teach. So that's why I'm quite happy if I continue next year and we have enough quality in our squad to not play. I kind of tried to do it at times in the Helvetia games this year. I didn't start myself because I didn't have an assistant for the second one especially. I didn't have an assistant, so I don't think you can appreciate until you do it how hard it is to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine.
But from like what most people have said, and like the fact that we're not great in attack, like I think at the moment this season we've kind of needed me to play still, but hopefully I won't have to play too much longer, because these guys are all a lot faster than me now. So it's I'm ready to just coach now, basically.
Decent.
Learn that side of it more and concentrate on that side, because this season it's been like very like I haven't done a good enough job coaching, but at the same time I do still have the excuse that I can cling on to, that I've also had to worry about playing, so I need to eventually take that excuse away and just concentrate on trying to be a better coach, really. That's what I'm aiming to do over the next few years.
I mean, it's great to have you, Rob. Thank you very much for participating. I mean, for all those watching,
my pleasure.
I mean, follow Baku United on Facebook. What's your Facebook account name? It's just what? You've got a page, don't you? It's Baku United London Futsal Club, right?
I think it is now, yeah. Everyone has to put London in their name, doesn't they, or something?
What about Twitter? What's that?
Same thing, I think, at Baku United London.
Yeah. See you guys. So at Baku United London, give them a follow. We'll be streaming.
Not a lot goes on those accounts. Don't worry.
It's because you're running it, mate. That's why. All right, but I mean, we're going to be streaming some. We're definitely going to be. We're planning to stream a Baku game. We're planning to stream a game of every single team that's participating in the grand finals. So tune in to Rob and Baku United, and we wish them luck. Thank you very much, Rob, for participating.
Cheers. Looking forward to playing against Forrest Gump in the quarter-final playoffs. 2 legs. He knows who he is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who that is, but you know. All right, then, mate. Take care. Yeah.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Rob Ursell, influential ex-England player. Probably still good enough to be an England player. If you still haven't followed The Daily Futsal, do so on Facebook. Give us a like. Follow us on Twitter. It's at The Daily Futsal. That's capital T, capital D, capital F. And also follow us on Insta. It's just The Daily Futsal. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Also, if there's anyone you wish to have a podcast with, please let us know. Send us a message on the Facebook page. If there's any article you want us to write that we think we can write, send it to us and we'll try to do so. Keep an eye out for more, or shall I say, keep an ear out for more of our podcasts coming soon. We've actually got big plans and we've got a big announcement to make soon. We're going to have a member, someone that used to work at the FA will be interviewing with us, and we're also interviewing someone from the Japanese Federation very, very soon. So we're going to start talking about futsal at a much higher level as well, in a bid to continue to try and support the futsal community with a little bit more information, a little bit more knowledge of things that they can do to continue to enhance our game. Thank you very much, guys, for listening in, and ladies as well. And we'll catch up soon with another podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.